Okay, welcome to the full legislative meeting, June 3rd, 2014. We'll stand for the pledge. Legislator Castellano, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Absolutely. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
District number 1, Legislator Scuccinaro.
Present.
District 2, Legislator Alverio.
Present.
District 3, Legislator Tortero.
Present.
District 4, Legislator Nasarino.
Present.
District 6, Legislator Gross.
Present.
District 7, Legislator Castellano.
Present.
District 8, Legislator LaRue.
Present.
District 9, Legislator Wright.
Present.
District 5, Chairman Albano.
Present. Proclamations, Putnam County Youth Bureau High School Senior Recognition Day. Legislator Roger Gross.
Good evening, Janine Cunningham. Would you like to come up and bring your volunteers with you?
And the Youth Bureau staff will join us as well.
Okay, sure.
Where's all our seniors, high school seniors, please, come on up here. I know there's a... Oh. Is that okay?
A lot of volunteers. Oh, that's great.
Come on up, guys, it's all about you guys. Yeah, come on. About this one. Yeah.
Could you give us a little introduction first of all these youngsters and your staff as well?
Sure. So I'm Janine Cunningham. I'm the director of the Youth Bureau. So on behalf of the Youth Bureau, Joseph DiMarzo, who's the Deputy Commissioner of Social Services, Mental Health, and Youth Bureau, and our Secretary, Kathy Klein, who is not up here. Where else? Oh, Diane Moore. Raise your hand behind these big, tall gentlemen, who is our Coordinator of Reality Check. And Barbara Reitz over here, who's also coordinator of Youth Court with Pamela Follett as well. She's a new addition. Everybody probably remembers Adrienne Isoni, who was probably with most of you the last couple of years. But these are most of our high school seniors who will be graduating this year. They'll be graduating this year. So we just want to say thank you to them for a great job. We really appreciate all the work they've done throughout the last couple of years with our Youth Court program and other youth board members as well. Hannah, Stephen, thank you. So we thank you as legislators, County Exec's Office for supporting our program.
Okay. Are they from all the high schools, Haldane and Brewster and Carmel and Mayapack, all different schools in different county? Okay. Well, welcome everyone and welcome staff. This is Putnam County Youth Bureau High School Senior Recognition Day, which is today, June 3rd. It's almost over with, but we do recognize and we appreciate all the service you've done for the county and for your particular community. Putnam County recognizes our youth as important community members and values their unique skills, perspectives, and ideas as they lead local awareness, service, and advocacy activities. Youth Bureau volunteers donate their time to department programs such as Youth Court and a wide variety of services which you've mentioned, Janine. And certainly the volunteer service you do, most of you will be going off to college if you're seniors, I assume, in September or some other workforce or job. Having that kind of volunteer service is very important on your resume. I can tell you it's very much appreciated. Whereas the accomplishments and achievements of these young citizens deserve the recognition and commendation of their community leaders, now therefore be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim June 3rd as Putnam County Youth Bureau High School Senior Recognition Day, and these high school seniors for their long-standing commitment to Putnam County is thoroughly appreciated. It's signed by Mary Ellen Odell, the Putnam County Executive, and Carl Albano, the Chairman of the Putnam County Legislature. So congratulations to all of you.
I'm just going to introduce Alex Truskowski. He's a senior. He just wanted to say a few words on behalf
Sure,
of all of our
please
high
do.
school seniors.
Well, I joined Youth Court about 6 years ago this fall. I was about 12 years old, and I think we had heard about the program through Jeannie Cunningham because I had done some work with the Youth Bureau through her just shortly before then, I think. And I had really loved it from the outset. I thought that, you know, it was a really exciting time for the Youth Corps at the time because we had just moved in to the old courthouse for our training sessions, and we had this new exciting group that we were working with that I loved. And I remember the year that I was training was my favorite year of training, well, which makes a lot of sense. But and so, you know, it became more meaningful to me as I got involved with more cases, and you know, I had more personal choice as to what I was doing with the service that I was performing. Like this summer, Greg and I spent a good amount of time working with Barbara on the training manual and working on how training this year was going to be structured in the fall. And I think the biggest lesson that you learn as Youth Court member is the power of responsibility, not only for yourself but for the other people that you immediately affect, whether it be through your words or through your conscientiousness, because you don't know who the next person that you positively affect will become. So we'd like to thank our parents, and we'd like to thank the Youth Bureau and the county for making this possible and recognizing the importance of this program for the whole community. And we'd like to thank Barbara Reitz for running this for such a long time, and Judge Reitz for his continual support, as well as the rest of Putnam County. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Next, we have correspondence from the county auditor. There's no activity reported for this period. Rules, Enactments, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Chairman LeBouf.
Thank you,
Chairman
Chairman.
LeBouf.
Thank you, Chairman Albano. On behalf of legislators Wright and Tortora and Wright, I'd like to bring forward Agenda Item 4A. It's approval of workman's compensation settlement.
Discussion. All in favor?
Agenda Item 4B, which is approval and memorialization in support of the Scaffold Law Reform Act.
Discussion. I would just like to say I'm very much in favor of this. It seems that New York sticks out amongst all the states with some real serious issues with regard to this. It's unfortunate that the liability is completely on the employer and not passed along according to where the real responsibilities might be. So,
Absolutely, and it drives up construction costs, and we are, in fact, New York is the only state that still has this law on the books. And it was enacted in 1885 when there were no safety equipment or safety measures in place. So, and it's just a memorialization. It tells the state we're in
absolutely.
favor.
Being in the insurance business, an insurance policy for liability could be a third to double in New York as compared to a neighboring state. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda Item 4C, which is approval to amend local law number 9 of 2012 in relations to requirement of providing an apprenticeship program. I'd like to table this because there was several legislators not present at the committee meeting, so we can have further discussion.
I'll second that. Also.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Health, Social, Education, and Environmental Committee. Chairman Oliverio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of legislators LaRue and Scutamara, I'd like to move forward the following resolutions. Approval of a local law to amend Article 10 of the Putnam County Charter entitled Human Resources Services to add 2 new sections entitled Deputy Commissioner of Social Services and Deputy Commissioner of Mental Health. I don't want the public to be confused. We are not creating brand new positions. We're just designating, as per recommendation from our personnel department, delineating these already existing positions in their rightful categories. So I'd like to move that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next, approval of a memorialization to support the New York Senate Bill SO 6562, Assembly Bill AO 817-8B, making restrictions relating to smoking in public areas applicable to electronic cigarettes. And again, we had our Commissioner of Health speak to us about this. Electronic cigarettes are totally unregulated at this point in time, totally unregulated. You can buy them anywhere. And the dangers of this liquid nicotine, and sometimes people put other nefarious liquids in those electronic cigarettes, and we don't know what they are. Upon recommendation of this Assembly bill and the Senate bill, but also our Commissioner of Health, we'd like to memorialize the 2 existing bills out of Albany to request that they investigate, making the smoking of those electronic cigarettes banned from public areas.
Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I have a relative involved in this business, so I'd like to recuse myself from 4E, F, and G, which all pertain to the same topic.
Legislator Scutchmore.
I'm very happy that we are doing this with these 2 bills, and I believe that in this day and age, when there's such a drug crisis in our area surrounding us all over the country, that this could be used with our children as a tool to gateway into something else. Like Sam said, there are no studies on this per se for health risks and the chemical makeup of what goes into these electronic cigarettes. So I believe it's a very good thing to bring more attention to this because it's sliding under the radar.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
But if I understood Legislator Scutchmore's explanation, if the bill sought a better understanding of electronic cigarettes, which were ostensibly introduced to assist people in stopping using conventional cigarettes, which is certainly a good thing. But if the bill sought to investigate the area, then I think our comments are apropos. But unless I misunderstand the bill, the 2 bills seek to categorically treat electronic cigarettes for purposes of where they are able to be used in all respects as a cigarette,
Right.
a tobacco cigarette.
That's
and I don't know that there's any body of evidence that makes that medical or moral equivalent that would permit me to support it. We're only memorializing,
Right.
telling someone else our opinion, but I mean,
That's what we're
I'm
doing.
not prepared to say that electronic cigarettes are as bad as conventional cigarettes.
Well-
And for those people that they have indeed already helped stop smoking, I would like to see an investigation and research into their effects and where they should be permitted, whether they give off any secondhand deleterious vapors that can injure third parties, which is certainly what 4E is aimed at. But absent that, that's my feeling.
Okay.
Let Jenny. Yeah.
Yeah, Legislator.
I would like to support both Sam and Barbara because I think, conversely, this is exactly what the intent of this memorialization is. There's little known about it, there's little regulation in place, and there's fear of the unknown. So all we are asking for and supporting is basically to have more regulations and have more understanding and have more documentation and evidence supporting it one way or the other and regulating it in New York State. So for that reason, I will support it, because right now, there's no regulations and no accountability.
Legislator Oliveri.
If you're familiar with electronic cigarettes, and I am because some of my fellow workers up at the high school were cigarette smokers and used that, it puts out a cloud of vapor. It reminds me, Rob, you're going to laugh about this, but if you recall, when your days of Vietnam, you see that puff come out of the Agent Orange spreading, not to equate it, but it is a plume, and it's pure nicotine that's coming out with some water vapor. And you're absolutely right, Judy, we do not know what that's doing. It may even be worse than cigarettes, and that's what they're afraid of, and that's why they're asking for these memorializations, so that they have the strength from the counties within the state to do their investigations, and I think that's important.
Well, we know the adverse effects of secondhand smoke. We don't know
What they are
adverse
here.
effects may
Exactly.
be here, so we're seeking to understand.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Waddle.
That's just my point, Mr. Chairman, that we're asking for more regulation out of ignorance rather than out of knowledge, and I think that's a bad thing.
Okay, Legislator LeBeau.
I will be supporting all three of these memorializations. I think there's a big difference. We discussed at great length several months over legislation that would ban the selling of cigarettes in certain retail outlets. This, I cannot go against this. We're asking for safeguards to be in place. And so I support it wholeheartedly. I'm actually looking at 4G, the idea that this is not regulated by
It's not.
the Department of Taxation and Finance to sell tobacco products is really
Okay,
amazing.
Legislator Castellano.
Yeah, I'm in agreement as well. Simply because this is like an exploding industry that no one seems to understand. And recently I was in a restaurant where I noticed people smoking this and no one knew what to do about it. And it's certainly a cigarette, and I think the same rules should apply. You know, you can't smoke in a restaurant or a bar or wherever.
I agree.
So I'm in agreement with this, and it's not the same as what we discussed last month, but that's why I'm in agreement with
Okay,
this.
we have
And
a
it's
roll
a
call vote.
memorialization, I just want to stress that.
And Mr. Chairman, just so we're clear, we're still on number 4E.
Right, correct, 4E.
4E.
That is it.
That's the across-the-board equivalency between cigarettes and e-cigarettes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the one that I oppose. The others
Okay.
look
Okay,
like
so
they're
do we
going
have
to
a-
regulate them and regulate them in a way that can't hurt anyone.
I don't know if we need a roll call. I mean,
Do we? I don't know, we have opposing.
No, you can just note my opposition to 4E.
There's one nay,
One opposition, one no vote.
unless there's other nays.
Let's call the question and vote.
Yeah, just call the question. All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now moving on to 4F, and this is an approval of memorialization to support the New York Senate Bill SO 7027A and Assembly Bill AO 9299A. And this prohibits the sale, and this is what I was getting at before, of the liquid nicotine to minors under the age of 18 across the state and under the age of 21 in the city of New York. And this requires containers of electronic liquid to be labeled with its ingredients, the amount of nicotine, and a warning, and be child resistant. Again, it's a tube of liquid that they insert in this electronic cigarette. It mixes, there's water in there, and when they smoke it, it becomes a vapor, and we don't know what that does. So I ask that we support 4F, that memorialization.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. And then we have 4G, approval of memorialization. And this is Senate Bill SO 7139, Assembly Bill AO 9649. And this requires retailers of electronic cigarettes not otherwise registered with the Department of Taxation and Finance to sell tobacco products to register with the Department of Health. And that only makes sense. I mean, you're selling nicotine, so you should register with them. So I ask that we support that memorialization as well.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then finally, we have a grant application for the trap, neuter, and return grant. This has been outstanding success here in Putnam County, thanks to Dr. Beals and the Department of Health and their oversight of this. It's just a tremendous thing in reducing the cases of rabies, and we have an available grant to enhance this trap, neuter, and return.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Protective Services Committee, Chairman Gross.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of legislators LeBou and legislators Wright and myself, I refer to 4I, which is the approval of the appointment to the Putnam County Traffic Safety Board of Mr. Guy Gentili, filling a vacancy position, said term to expire December 31st, 2014.
Discussion? All in favor?
One no.
Aye.
One no.
One no.
Two noes.
Two noes.
I think it's a little bit.
Okay.
4J, the approval and authorization of the intermunicipal agreement lease of an armored personnel carrier. It's $1 a year lease from Putnam County from Westchester County. It's valued at $750,000 a year. It is on loan. It's camouflaged, and it's in case of a really a drastic situation of holding up in a building in terms of kidnapping and that sort of thing. It's quite intimidating. It came from Iraq, and it's got room for machine guns on top and everything else, but it's ready to go.
Great. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4K, the approval of the grant application of 2014 Homeland Security Grant Program, SHSP and LETPP. This is a $275,000 grant to aid our emergency services and Homeland Security program. There's no matching funds. This is a straight grant. The only caveat is that $68,750 should be directed toward law enforcement terrorism prevention activities.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, you'll note my recusal on the record. My son's an assistant director of Homeland Security.
Thank you. Next, Physical Services Committee, Chairman Albano on behalf of legislators. Mr. Reno and Mr. Tomorrow.
That'd be you.
Okay. Approval of conveyance of real property portion of tax map number 75.06-1-67 in the town of Carmel. This is approximately 7,900 square feet of property that consists of a parking lot. Any discussion on this? All in favor? Yes. Let's wait a
Did you
little.
want to say something?
No,
Sam?
I'm good on one.
Okay.
No, that, I'm so happy that we're all supporting this because this will enable a animal hospital to be constructed. And it will be open in the evening hours, so it'll be like an animal clinic. And it's something that's desperately needed. And I know most of us here all have animals, so we appreciate it.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Good idea. All in favor?
Aye.
4M, approval support of issuance of request for proposal for photovoltaic powered generating projects. Discussion? This is relatively important because what's happening with the electric rates, as you can see, they're going up in leaps and bounds. And sometime in the future, these photovoltaic power cells are going to be extremely important. Any other discussion on this?
No, I just would like to add that whatever benefit we realize today will certainly increase as the price of electricity goes forward. And especially, we should take into consideration that we have available to us at the present time additional fundings to help defray the cost. So I think this is a win-win situation.
Yeah, in light of the new capacity zones, what they're doing now is our rates no longer the fantastic NYSEG rates. So we're going to be hurting. And we have a lot of properties that could be ideal for this in the future, dump sites and different things that we're looking at. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
4N, approval resolution in support of Putnam County's use of QUIP funds for repair of the dam at Tilly Foster Farm. This is $300,000. It's a water quality issue. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4O, approval resolution in support of Putnam County's use of QUIP funds rehabilitation of subsurface sewage treatment system at Tilly Foster Farm. $350,000. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4.8, approval resolution in support of Putnam County's use of QUIP funds for upgrading the water system at Tilly Foster Farm. $180,000. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4Q, approval of lease agreement at Tilly Foster Farm building. This will be the person that is familiar with animals and has the qualifications, keep an eye on the animals, and administer medicines and whatever appropriate steps have to be taken. Any discussion?
I think this is a...
With Shamara?
Did you want to say
I just want to note that there's a disclosure on record this was by the legislation.
I didn't hear counsel.
Just when the disclosure of record has been given to the legislature.
That's a county employee?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
That it's a
This
county
is disclosure on
employee.
record that this is a county employee that will occupy, take this lease. And it's an exchange of services. They'll provide services, we provide the home. Legislative approval.
No, I'd be voting no on this because I think it's a conflict of interest. In the past, the criticism that I had anyway, in questioning the lease, is there were several people utilizing space and at the farm and they weren't paying any rent. So I think we're going sort of in the same direction. And you can argue that those people brought certain things to the farm. They felt they did anyway, in terms of whether it was their business. There was two separate businesses that were on the farm.
Okay. Sure. We'll start at the end. Legislative switch them off.
I don't have a problem with this at all. On all our meetings eventually, Foster, one of the most concerned things for the public was they wanted animals back on the farm. You see a farm, you want animals. This woman is trained in taking care of animals, and she defrayed the cost. I wanted to have a thoroughbred rescue at the farm, but you'd have to hire somebody to take care of the horses and bring them in and out, somebody qualified. That would cost the county money. This way, this woman's coming in, she's living there, she knows how to take care of the animals that we are going to gather and put on the farm. I feel like it's a no-brainer. It's a win-win situation, and she's very excited about it, so am I.
Yeah, I was going to say, not only is she trained, but she's licensed, and there's a very specific job description of what her daily duties are, so it's not some kind of nebulous what benefit does she bring. I mean, you really need someone. If we didn't have this person doing the things that she's going to be doing, like feeding the animals, administering vaccines, being able to do the evaluations on site, we certainly would have to hire someone to do this. So it's almost like an exchange for services.
Legislative Nancy.
I just want to echo Carl Lou's comments. She's a licensed veterinary technician. It's a cost savings measure. It also is a safeguard measure to have someone on site all the time to take care of the animals and to feed them early in the morning and to be there late at night. She administered the vaccines, as you noted, and ultimately we feel that it's a very cost-saving and service that is being provided in exchange for having someone there to guard and monitor the animals.
Thank you. Legislative Oliver.
Not to disregard Legislator Wu's concern, though, I did some research, and at first I looked at this as a conflict of interest. What we're doing is a quid pro quo. You rent here, you work for the county, and that's a contractual area that I'm sure somebody with a law degree would need to decipher. But I did some research, and I believe. And I would have to defer to counsel that it is legal, this agreement. But that type of arrangement does bring up questions. It does, because it's not a pay-as-you-go. It's not a salary position. It's you can live here for this amount of work. But the gray area is what is the amount of work? How is it guaranteed? And that was my concern. What are we talking? Is there a contract here? Do we specify what's necessary? I haven't seen the contract, and that's why I'm deferring to counsel on this. A lease agreement, but it doesn't specify. If you look at that lease agreement, it doesn't specify the hours or the job duties specifically that it entails. That's my only concern, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to vote for it because I answered a lot of my own questions by Googling things, but it's a gray area, and I'm always uncomfortable with this type of thing, I have to tell you, because it is weird. What are we guaranteed? What are they guaranteed? Because it's really not specified specifically.
I think it'll depend on what kind of animals you put on.
Right. Yeah. Legislative Nasserino.
Just to comment on your concerns, I think, the fact that it's a licensed veterinary technician, the expectation is she would be performing all those duties that she would as if you bought an animal to a veterinarian. We do have a lease agreement in place. However, I don't think that it's too late to draw up some sort of agreement listing the expectations and the duties that we wish for her to perform. And again, this is not a forever thing. This is something that is basically a work in progress. If it doesn't work out, we don't renew the lease. We'll see where it goes. But we felt secure in the fact that having a licensed veterinary technician on site, living there, serves as both a protection and a cost-saving measure.
It's a
So
good
that
idea.
was
That's
the
why I'm voting
initiative
for
put
it.
forth.
But again, I have those concerns.
Yeah, I'll just add, in my opinion, I don't think it's a conflict of interest. The absolute thing we know for sure is we want animals on the farm, so it's a necessity. And basically, this is just a mathematical formula. Will the services offset what the rent should be? And we're fairly confident that that's going to happen. So I'd like to have that in place. Legislator Gross.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think it's a great fit. We have someone that's competent. I know her to be a very conscientious employee in Putnam County. I think we're very fortunate to have this kind of a situation that Barbara talked about, so I certainly support her.
Mr. Chairman, the
Yes,
concerns about the specifications of the duties, I think, are indeed set forth in the proposed lease agreement
Yes.
under the rent section. But to the concerns that were raised about the hours to be committed and the concomitant supervision of that person by an agency director during their regular business hours while they're also tending to other county business, you know, I just believe we should have some specification of hours outside of,
That is my concern.
outside of the conventional work hours of, it doesn't even say to be performed, you know, after regular employment hours or anything like that. So I can't support it as worded. I think it can be easily worded so as to allay anyone's concerns. We're supposed to try to adopt things that not only make sense to us, but when the public looks at it, they say, yeah, well, they covered that base. And I don't think that base is covered, so.
Just my opinion on that is that at this point, this is, we're making progress on this very slowly. We don't even know when animals will be there. It may get to the point where we need even more help, and this isn't enough. So there's going to be that gray area probably for a few months until we get it off the ground. But we do know we need a presence there. And it just seems to be a natural fit. We have a person that works for the county that we're confident will be able to do this. So I think right now it gives us that safety net. In the future, there's going to be a lot of changes with all of this. So I think at this point, roll call vote.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Gross.
Yes.
Legislator LeBeau.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Oliverio.
Yes, but I would like that if we can, to be investigated.
Legislator Scuchamaro.
Yes.
Legislator Totero.
Yes.
Legislator Wright.
Yeah, no.
Chairman Albano.
Yes.
Motion carries.
For our approval budgetary amendment 14A034, 2014 East of the Hudson Coalition Legal Services Budget. This is monies we have to lay out to have this continue because we are the lead agency, and I understand we'll be reimbursed to this for most of the money except for about $2,100 and change. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4S, approval to apply for Federal Transportation Alternative Program Grant, TAP, Kent Revitalization Project Planning Department. This is a sidewalk project in Kent, approximately $2 million, 1.6 grant from the federal government and the state, $300,000. Basically, the county's part on this is 5%, which is about $100,000. I think this is a fantastic idea. We have the sewers going in up there. It's basically revitalization of a threat, one of the main corridors going through our county. Any discussion?
If I may.
Legislator Totaro?
I'd just like to add that it's a shovel-ready project, meaning the engineering and the surveying has already been completed. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little shorter than the original proposal, and I'm very happy we got another bite at the apple. But having said that, I think one benefit that I would like to mention is that it's built It would definitely go a long way in designating the Route 52 corridor as a main street, and that was one of the primary goals of the County Revitalization Committee going back to 2008. So these things sometimes take quite a while to develop, but it's been a long time, in development.
This is, if I could, this is specifically the sidewalk project?
Yes.
Yes, continuation of the one that ends approximately by ShopRite.
A scaled-down version of what originally was attempted. So it's good that we didn't lose this. All in favor?
Aye.
Personnel Committee, Chairwoman Nasarino.
Thank you, Chairman Albano.
Did I miss something? Sorry. Okay, approval minor renovations to highway facilities. Highway facilities.
It's using the rest of the minor renovation.
Yes. Any discussion on this?
I don't have it for some reason. How much is it?
96,000, I believe, around there approximately. So it's not large. It's 95,000 renovation.
Okay. There's no fiscal impact?
$69.
I don't see, there's no fiscal impact?
No, it's already budgeted.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Personnel Committee, Chairwoman Nasarino.
Okay, let's try this again. Thank you, Chairman Albano. On behalf of legislators Castellano and myself, I would like to move item number 4U, an approval of the budgetary amendment number 14A-037, the Commissioner of Health and reorganization of the Health Department. This budgetary amendment is due to a vacancy which occurred in the Health Department and therefore allowed the Commissioner to be able to reorganize some of the monies and make from one line to another. It also creates a new position at a cost of the cost savings to the county. So I would like to move forward with this amendment.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 4B is approval confirmation renewal of the term of the Commissioner of Health. Dr. Beal joined Putnam County in May 2012. We are very fortunate to have someone of Dr. Beal's caliber with us as part of our team here in Putnam County. He is innovative, organized, and has had a proactive approach in both wellness and the environment. He is a physician. However, as part of his appointment for probationary for 2 years, he was required to take additional graduate courses, and he has fulfilled that requirement. Therefore, we are moving tonight to approve him for the remaining 4 years with said term to end on June 5th, 2018. So I would like to move forward with that approval for Dr. Beals, and we are very happy with his services and the job that he has done there in Putnam County. He's on the cutting edge. He's always looking for new resources and new things to bring forth to the Health Committee, as Sam can attest to, and always looking out for the people in Putnam County to ensure that they are safe and well at all times. So congratulations, Dr. Beals. We are happy to have you.
Thank
you, Ms. Jim. You know, serendipity and the hand of fate is very, very funny. You know, Alan, you and I were candidates for this legislative position. You know what? The county, I think, won on both ends. I kept my seat, but we got one of the best commissioners, if not the best commissioner, I think, in New York State. I love working with you, Dr. Beals. You are bright, you're articulate, and the things you have done with your department are amazing in the little span of time you've been there. I can't compliment you and your department enough. You really have brought some great things to Putnam. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of truth to that saying. One door closes, another opens. And I'm so happy you're in the spot you're in. And I mean that sincerely. Thank you.
I can't be happier myself. I admire this man greatly. He's brought so much to our county, and I am so grateful for that. And anytime you call him with a question, he's right there. He loves to have you come and visit the health department. And he's really reorganized that whole place, and it's been a pleasure working.
Really?
And I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to more years.
Yep.
And I'd like to second on all those statements. Great job, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item on my agenda is approval of a fund transfer for the Office of Senior Resources. Temporary, this is a transfer from the personnel line to the temporary line because there was a sub-CL, the CGL driver fill-in for someone who's out. So I would like to move forward with that
Discussion.
transfer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Audit and Administration Committee, Chairman Castellano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of Legislators Nasarino and Tintara, I'd like to bring forward the following items. Item 4X is the approval of the secret determination. It's the consideration of the $300,000 bond issue for repair work at Tilly Foster Farm. And we're taking advantage of some low interest rates, and we're going to do some good work at the farm, and we'd like to move it forward.
This is a question through the chair. Is this with respect to septic system and the water, or is this with respect to the construction?
This is towards the construction. It covers the septic system, the electrical system, the HVAC, fire prevention, IT services.
Okay.
And hopefully we're not going to use all $300,000. We're going to have that money available.
We'll talk about that when we hit it.
Yeah.
This is just a secret determination, so this is good. We need that.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 5Y is, 4Y is the approval of the bond resolution for Tilly Foster Farms for the building improvements that we've been speaking.
Discussion, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
I asked this legislature to once again not bond this. I have to tell you, I did some research. Since 2012, we have bonded $10,256,535. This does not include the $750,000 bond for the Carmel Senior Center, nor this additional $300,000. If we do this, when we're sitting on an excess of $2 million from our excess sales tax, plus rollover money into the millions that we carried from last year to this year, additional revenue, we should pay cash for these. Bonding is a silent, secret tax that every one of us, especially our kids, are going to have to pay back when those bond debts and the bond service come due. I'm really asking us all to be frugal with this bonding. It's just a hidden way to add, over the years, more expenditures that are not necessary. But I remember growing up all the time, my folks would say, if you can't pay cash for it, don't buy it. You don't want to go in debt. But that's what we've done already at over $10 million in 3 years. We have the cash to pay for this. We need this. This needs to be done up at Tilly Foster. I'm not arguing with the use. I'm arguing with how we're acquiring the money. I don't want to lend. I don't want to borrow anymore. We borrowed enough. Let's pay cash. We have it. We have that money. We do. And we're going to end up with more money from the excess sales tax we get this year. So, I'm telling you, I said it last year, I'm saying it again, we're sitting on a whole bunch of sales tax money that's unclaimed. We need to utilize it for things like this. So I will vote no if we're going to bond this. I will vote yes if we pay cash for it. I love the idea, but I don't want to bond anymore. I don't.
Mr. Chairman, please.
I respect your comments, Legislator Oliverio, but also bonds have also come to fruition. So there's a constant turnover. So as bonds are cleared up and paid off, new bonds do come into...
But not this rate, not $11 million in 3 years.
I was just also aware that a finance person for the county, who we all respect very much, has said we're in great shape with ratios as far as bonding is concerned. And we need to have cash on hand for a rainy day and litigation. And I don't want to touch that money if you don't have to. Things are going pretty well now, but we could slip back into another recession. I mean, who knows what's going to happen. So I'd like to leave the bank account alone.
I would like to add to that. Legislator Gross, I agree with you 100%. Bonds are coming off, bonds are coming on. We're at historic low rates. We're never going to see these bond rates again or anything much lower than this, I believe. The other thing is this is a bond that we're going to create that's going to generate cash flow. So basically the expense to this bond is going to be offset by an income. We're trying to make this a revenue-producing property. And for that reason, I would be in favor for this bond. Legislator Nassar.
I'm also in favor of it. It's a 10-year bond. Think about the average household buying a new car, they have 5 years worth of debt. So for what we're getting in return for 10 years certainly makes sense because it's not depreciating, it's appreciating. And I agree with Roger wholeheartedly. You just don't know what unanticipated expenses or how the economy is going to turn at any given moment. So I would like to keep our money where it is. You just never know. And bonds are callable, bonds mature, so there's always that rotating basis for the bonds that we have outstanding at this point in time. So I will support this.
Other comments? Legislator Gross.
I spoke at the committee on this at great length about the bonding. I agree with Legislator Oliverio. I also have an issue with doing construction when we're not exactly quite sure the use of the farm. I don't understand how this works. You wouldn't do that with your home, okay? You wouldn't decide to take a mortgage out unless you had a plan and you knew exactly what you were going to do in terms of the expansion. And I keep hearing a lot of talk about how we're going to make money back. We've thrown an awful lot of money into the golf course, and we are losing money. We're not making money. And usually when you run a business, you invest in one area and you see what the return is. We're just going hog wild here. We're throwing money all over the place. I can't support it. And I supported the farm. I worked very hard to bring a restaurant to the farm. For 2 years, I tried to work with the administration. I wanted to repair the septic at the farm. I was waiting for an answer with respect to the QUIP funds. And now all of a sudden we are able to move forward on that, so I support that. But I can't support additional debt. That's it.
I'm supportive of the bond, and Deanie, I really respect the comments that you made. The reality is most of those repairs that were outlined as being covered by the bond are an absolute necessity, especially the fact that, you know, the septics have to be upgraded, the buildings are not ADA compliant, regardless of what use finally materializes at the farm. There's certain repairs that have to be made, and I think the schedule reflects basic things.
If I could, Carl, this does not reflect the septic, just to correct Lou.
Well, I should have said the bedroom part.
Yeah, Legislator Oliverio.
Just 2 points. Again, I like the project. I support the project. I'm not just talking about this $300,000. I'm talking about the literally 11 million that have already been bonded. And that's a major concern. That is debt. That is tax. That is money that this county owes. And if you have cash, especially for an amount under $1 million, and that's how I usually judge it with a budget approaching $140 million, under $1 million, and you have that ready cash, and we do, then utilize it to offset these expenses. $300,000 paid for. Whatever we make then is pure profit. We're not paying interest on a bond that's out there for 10 years, compounded every year. We have whatever profit we make from this immediate. It's immediate. It comes back to us. And I ask you to consider that. Again, we already have $11 million bond. And number 2, your profit when you pay cash, it's immediate. You're not still paying off this bond. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, request of the bond council, can we have a second for the record?
I'll second.
Thank you. Yeah, as far as excess monies or sales tax, I prefer that we stay healthy and we have a piggy bank. And if the time comes where we think we have too much, which would be a wonderful thing, we'll all smile. I think there are other priorities that we should pay first. Again, this is going to generate money, so this is a plan, a 10-year plan. We believe we could offset this in 10 years with the income that it brings in, so it's not going to hurt us. There are other places that we could put money if we feel we have excess. That would probably be more important. So I guess at this point, we'll call.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Gross.
Yes?
Legislator LeBeau.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Oliveri.
I love the project, but I have to vote no because of the bonding.
Legislator Scuchamara.
Yes.
Legislator Totaro.
Yes.
Legislator Wright.
Yes.
Chairman Albano.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 4Z is the approval of a budgetary amendment for Tilly Foster Farm for contractual services and renovations. We're moving $70,000 out of contingency for contracts, and we're putting money in the correct funds, again, the $300,000 on. And this is going to go towards renovations. I'd like to move it forward.
Question to the chair. So this is separate from the 300,000?
No, that is the 300,000.
This
That's
is
the
300,000 plus 70,000. We're putting the funds in the correct spot.
Okay.
We are taking 70,000 out of contingency to help defer some of this cost.
Okay.
Discussion. All in favor?
One
One
no.
no.
One no.
No, two no's.
Two no's.
Two no's.
4AA is the approval of a local law establishing a revised 2014 salary for certain appointed officers serving for a fixed term, Commissioner of Health. We obviously recently just spoke about Dr. Beals. He's doing a fantastic job with the Department of Health. Very important asset to Putnam County government and to the people in Putnam County. And with that, we'd like to set his fixed salary amount at $167,000. And he is well worth everything he brings to Putnam County.
All in favor?
Aye.
4BB, this is the approval of the budgetary amendment for finance to restore the salary of the Commissioner of Health to the amount we just mentioned. We are getting some money in state aid back. This is because of the classes that he recently took and obviously passed that. And he's done, again, stellar job of being the leader of the Department of Health here in Putnam County. He's a great asset to our county. We are moving $10,581 for this. Some of it is coming out of state aid for an amount of $3,517. $7,001 coming out of contingency. And with that, I'd like to move it forward.
Discussion.
One question. Is that a $17,000 raise? Am I reading that correctly?
It's established in
2013 to 2014.
He was making $150,000, now he's up to $167,000 as we just approved.
Based on the title, the other qualification.
We're moving the money around just to cover the salary now.
Okay, I know we have a lot of discussions about moving monies around and salary increases, 20% here and there for other offices. District attorneys comes to my mind, so this is a $17,000 raise. That's a pretty hefty.
Well, I think
Can
this
I
is,
just comment on
Sure,
Chairman
please.
Personnel? The salary was set at 167 for the former commissioner, so that salary was in place. He was working at the salary rate of 150, contingent upon fulfilling the requirement needed by New York State. And once that was obtained, the salary schedule is going back to what it is deemed for the Commissioner of Health by Putnam County formally.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So for a while, we're actually ahead of you.
Yep.
So not only is it fantastic, but it's a
We
cost
save
savings
money,
as
we
well.
save money. All in favor?
Aye.
4CC is the approval of the budgetary amendment from the Health Department for drinking water protection program. This is, we're moving some money to the correct category to pay out our bills. It's in the amount of $194,224, but again, the money was already budgeted, but we're moving it into the correct category. Zero fiscal impact.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4DD is the approval of budgetary transfer for finance, deputy sheriff's overtime for the 4th of July fireworks. Located in the town of Southeast, and this is an event that started last year at the, where Home Depot polls. And it was a fabulous event last year. There was quite a bit of people that showed up. It was great for businesses. It was driven by the local businesses. The town of Southeast helped create this. But with that, we realized there were some safety concerns. We do need the Sheriff's Department to provide us protection of the people of Putnam County. It was a fantastic event. I truly hope everybody comes back out this year. I had not heard a single person say a bad thing about that event. It was uneventful. They had a great fireworks display, and the businesses in that shopping mall certainly appreciated what would have been a dead day in their business, but it's a fantastic day for not only the town of Southeast, but the county of Putnam. So we're allocating some money to cover the overtime expenses that will be incurred by the Sheriff's Department. But with that, I want to say that for everybody that came out there, they spent tax dollars and found another place to shop in Putnam County, which I certainly want to stress. But I'd like to move it forward. It is coming out of contingency. It is in the amount of $21,530, and I'd like to move it forward.
I'd just like to add a little discussion to that. I'm totally in favor of this. Absolutely, it's a good event. It makes sense, and we're going to generate sales tax. I just look at this, and I'd like to see some more input from town police departments too, maybe helping the Sheriff's Department. Some way, when you look at the monies coming out here, I just think that there could be a better way to do this sometime in the future.
So we're going to look into it
Things that
next
we should
year.
look at.
We're looking into it next year. We do have the state troopers will be there as well, so there'll be some deferment in that.
County event.
Yeah, one of the things that we're looking at for next year, and not to jump ahead of ourselves, but maybe the 4th of July is not the most appropriate day, but we have the benefit of next year, the 4th of July falling on a Saturday.
Right.
So maybe we can do it on the 3rd of July next year, and maybe the following year we can do it on a Saturday where it wouldn't incur the overtime expense that we're going to have because it's on a holiday, but it's certainly something we've learned this year.
Okay. Legislator Oliveri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Considering the fact that where it is going to be held is a huge retail, outlet area, not outlet, but a huge retail complex, and the sales tax that's generated there is huge. This is an equitable way of sharing some of that sales tax with our municipality, so I'm very much in favor of this. And it is an awesome display. I mean, awesome. I parked on 84 because I couldn't get up there last year. But I'll tell you, the view, as you were looking up, it was just,
Spectacular.
And this
it was
year,
great.
This year, we're going to have some great views from the farm, which
I know,
also
which is
events
even
going
better,
on.
because you got a
So
fair
it's
going
really,
on.
it's a nice.
It's gonna be cool.
We got to stress the fact that you can't park on 84.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
I believe me, the troopers told me that. I said I'm observing.
Legislator Nasser, Legislator Gross.
I just wanted to reiterate that it is a county event, it's not a Southeast event, but, we help one another, town to town, county to town, so this is for the benefit of all the residents in Putnam County, and as Joe said, it was a great success last year, we're anticipating it to be even better this year, and with Tilly Foster having some festivities across the street, it's a good way to keep our residents in our county. It's a little staycation and something to do with the kids in Putnam County with families. Not only does it support the economy, but it gives us something to do in Putnam County, which we hear very often, what's to do in Putnam County, where's there to go? So we have someplace to go and something to do, and keep your tax dollars right here in our county.
And I'd also like to stress one other thing. The businesses came out in full support of this last year and gave us a lot of money to operate it. So it was at no cost to taxpayers. There was a little money that came out of the town of Southeast, and we certainly appreciate it. They're the ones that have been running it, and certainly it became a great event and a big event. But I want to thank the businesses. And certainly, if you want to look at the website, it's on the Town of Southeast website, and it'll tell you who's donating the monies, and we certainly appreciate everything that they're helping us.
Wonderful endeavor.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, the community's donated in the neighborhood of $10,000, and I want to give credit to Councilman Alvarez and Cullen for taking the lead in this and getting this event off the ground. They had some rough edges last year, and they polished up for this year, and it's been stated by many of us, it's going to really be a county event. And there's also an activity, which Legislator Nasser mentioned, at the Tilly Foster Farm, July 3 through 6. So it's going to be quite a weekend for Putnam County, and we're all looking forward to it.
All in favor?
Aye.
4E is the approval of the budgetary transfer for finance. Planning Department, Transportation Summer Interns Pilot Program. We're moving some money around to temporary lines to cover these expenses. And it's a zero fiscal impact, an amount of $15,071, but it's to cover the cost of hiring these young students that are going to help us out during the summer with this pilot program. It was a great success last year, and I just would like to move it forward.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4FF is the approval of grant application for 2014 Emergency Management Performance Grant. It's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to put it forward to you.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, other business, I can make a motion to waive the rules, accept the additional.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have approval budgetary amendment for highway and facilities, road machinery. This is a $20,000 repair to an excavator, which is an invaluable piece of equipment for the county facilities. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to, at the request of the county attorney, Von Gardner, make a motion to go into executive session for a litigation matter on a particular pending case. Descovich, I believe the name is.
There'll be no further business, correct?
No, after this, we'll have our budget and the finance committee meeting after this.
Okay.
I have a second.
Second.
Before you do that,
Yes.
can I please correct the record on 4FF? That I'm also recused on that matter. It's a Homeland Security-based grant. My son is an assistant director.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we made a motion to go into executive session.
Yes, we got a second.
Can I suggest, since the public is here, maybe we can allow public comment while everyone is still here before we go into executive session?
That's a good
Possible?
idea. That's a good idea.
Okay, that'll be fine. So, public comment.
Lynn Eckhart from the town of Southeast. I do want to say that I would like to give kudos to Edwin Alvarez and Bob Cullen. They worked really hard on the fireworks. But if the county's now taking ownership, and be my guest, if there are any problems or accidents, I assume that the county will, it's now a county event is what I'm trying to clarify. It's no longer a Southeast event. Is that true?
I don't think that's correct, but we'll be
Well, that's
doing
what I
our part.
heard, so I'm trying to clarify. Is it a Southeast event or is it a county event?
I believe it started as a Southeast
It
event,
did.
and I think that's where it's at now, and the county's participating, because we'll have something going on up the road.
Okay.
So we're part of it.
Okay, and just so it's clear, of course, we don't have our own fire department, so we do rely on the county, on the sheriffs, and of course to the state troopers. But I do think it takes away from Southeast, from Edwin and Bob, who worked so hard on it, if it suddenly becomes a county event. On the other hand, I have no problem if it is a county event, especially if you guys will take liability.
Yeah, I don't think we've gone in any direction with that. We'll discuss it next year, but you know,
I'm just looking out for my town.
we're all working together right now to have a great few days for the 4th of July. Legislative Gross.
Yes, Lynn, what I meant by that is people from across the county come to the event. I'm not taking anything away from Southeast. I live there, and Bob and Evan have done a great job, as you identified. We do have the Brewster Fire Department, which is a key player there, so we do have a fire department that will be involved.
Right, and last year, a lot of members of our town board went and picked up garbage afterwards, so, and it was very clean. I mean, the people who attended were really terrific. And there were
Great.
very, very few, if any, problems, but this year I hope the county will help with litter cleanup. You guys are all able bodied, so anyhow, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. 1 second, Barbara Lawyer from the Health Department. I know most of you very well. Just wanted to say thank you to all of you for having the great minds to continue our Commissioner of Health, Dr. Beals, because he has been the best commissioner I have ever served under, and I have served under 7 in my 30-year public health career. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I guess we'll go into executive session.
Kevin?
All right, I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
No action was taken, so we'll close this meeting.
Thank you.